Hello students, this is Tejaswini Kesey. Welcome to my channel Enlighten. In this video we'll discuss about the investment management part, that is module 6 efficient market theory part 2. The remaining concepts which I left in investment management of module 6 efficient market theory, that I will tell here. That is technical analysis versus fundamental analysis, one concept which was left. So if you have any doubts regarding the first video or the first part, you can ask me. That is in any form, that is semi-strong or weak form, those kind of things. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, so for this class we'll proceed towards it. So here first we need to know about the technical analysis, right? In your degree, in those who have taken SAPM, that is security analysis and portfolio management, who have taken those students will come to know about, or those students have had a glimpse on this technical analysis. I will sum up once here. That is technical analysis, which means nothing but this is a process of identifying trend reversals at an early stage to formulate the buying and selling strategies, and using with several indicators, an investor is going to analyze the relationship between price, volume and supply demanded for the overall market as well as for the individual stock. Here the technical analysis, which means nothing but here these technical analysis people, they are going to identify the trend reversals. Okay, in order to make, or in order to formulate with a buying or selling strategies, they are going to make the trends as reversal ones. Reverse, they are going to make reverse of a trend. Okay, and another thing, it's about here technical analysts are going to find out or make the, or an investor is going to analyze the relationship between the price, volume and the supply demanded for the overall market. Okay, and here some of assumptions also comes under this technical analysis. So here the first assumption is interactions of supply and demand determine the market value of the scrip. Okay, this is first assumption. Whereas the second assumption is the market always moves in a trend. Okay, that is you all know about the trend analysis, right? In BMS business mathematics, you have heard this, and you solved certain problems on it also. Okay, and the third assumption is here the history, it's going to repeat itself, and this is also true for the stock market. And in a rising market, the investor psychology is positive. Okay, that is always investor is going to think always the price is going to rise. That is the history which is left, that is going, that it is going to be repeat itself. That is in the year of 1999, the stock price are very high. We are in 2020, right? So in this 2020, sudden rise of rise of stock price may happens. Okay, this is what we are going to call as the technical analysis. Okay, and when it comes to the history of technical analysis, it's going to be the based on the Dow theory, right? So Dow theory already you have heard here, that is the rising trend lines, flat trend line, falling trend line. These kind of many varieties have been suggested in Dow theory, and which was proposed by Dow Jones averages. Okay, for as in his name itself, he was given the name also. Okay, and here trend reversal means nothing but the rise or fall in share prices cannot go on forever. That is what the trend it's been followed, that is upward trend. it is not going to be remains constant for a certain period. Okay, it is going to vary. Okay, that is what we are going to call as the trend reversal, and that trend reversal is going to be analyzed by the technical analysts. Okay, and here basically the technical analysts, they are not going to think the stock market is weak form of efficient. That is, I already told you, these technical analysts are very positive towards their approach. Okay, so that's what they are not going to think the weak form of efficient. They are just going to think about the semi-strong or the strong form of efficient market. Okay, and believe that investors are emotionally driven and predictable. Therefore the investor can exploit its predictability as it shows up in past prices and volume. That is, here the technical analysts are going to build the relationship between the price, volume and supply demanded for the over a period of a market. Okay, and here how the patterns are going to be determined, in the sense based on the quants. That is, quants in the sense nothing but quantities. Okay, so here the quantities are going to be used determined by using with the computers. Okay, that is here more or paperless work, right? So they are going to determine the trend reversal in the computer format itself. Okay, this is about the technical analysts. And here one diagram I have shown to you. Here actually in this diagram, the stock price of XYZ, it's in a constant position. Okay, that is at a same price it's went. Afterwards it's again goes up. Okay, so that is, stock first starts rising. Okay, so there where the trend line is upward, no, there actually the investor need to buy themselves, by the stock prices they need to buy. Okay, and again it is going to be constant. The price of XYZ share, it's going to be remains constant, and afterwards it may takes upward or it may takes up with the downward. Okay, it is not mere predictable, it may goes up as it's required. Okay, and here this is the best example for rising trend line. Okay, so an investor need to buy at the time of first rise itself. Okay, this is what the technical analysts are going to suggest for this form of market efficiency. If at that situation, that is the first stock rising point or the time it's there, no, at that period if they are going to buy their shares, then it is going to be efficient for the investors, or otherwise it will be going to become as weaker form of efficient market for the investors. Okay, so this is about technical analysts. Okay, here they are always going to think as positive, and here they are not going to think they are not going to move towards the weak form of efficient. They always thinks or they always want to go with the semi-strong or the strong efficient market theory. Okay, and here the technical analysts they are going to identify the trend reversals. That is trend reversals in the sense the sudden rise or sudden fallen in share prices. Okay, that is what we are going to call it as the technical analysts and technical analysts. Okay, so this is about technical analysis. Let's go with the fundamental analysts. Okay, before to this fundamental analysis, first we will discuss about the fundamental analysis means what is actually the fundamental analysis. Okay, here the fundamental analysis, which means nothing but the evaluating the financial performance of a company on the basis of qualitative and quantitative factors, is called as the company or the fundamental analysis. Okay, here the fundamental analysis can also be called as the basic company analysis also. Okay, and here certain two factors are going to be identified in this fundamental analysis, that is qualitative factors and quantitative factors. Okay, so in this qualitative factors, the business model, management, corporate governance, corporate culture, okay, these aspects are going to cover in qualitative factors. And whereas in quantitative factors, earnings, competitive edge, financial leverage, operational leverage, production efficiency, these factors are going to be comes under this fundamental analysis. Okay, so here it is nothing but in simple or in a nutshell we can call this fundamental analysis as the evaluating of the financial position of company. Okay, and that too the evaluation of a company's position based on the qualitative and the quantitative factors. Based on the qualitative and the quantitative factors, you need to kept in this mind. And the qualitative factors are business model, management, corporate governance, corporate culture. Okay, whereas quantitative factors are earnings, competitive edge, financial leverage, operational leverage, and production efficiency. Okay, so here the fundamental analysis. Okay, the fundamental analysts are those persons who do not think the stock market is semi-strong form of efficient. Okay, here the opposite to the technical analysts. Okay, they are not going to think about the weak form of efficient. Here fundamental analysts, they are not going to think about the semi-strong form of efficient. Just they are going to think about the strong form of efficient market and the weak form of efficient market. Okay, and here in this fundamental analysis, more of they are going to use publicly available information to identify firms that are worth more or worth less than everyone else's estimate of their values. Okay, so this is what the fundamental analysts. Okay, and here the fundamental analysis, the simple gist of it is the evaluation of financial position or of the company based on the qualitative and the quantitative factors. Okay, this is about the fundamental analysis, and as per them, at whatever the time they can buy the share, there is no problem, but at the time of selling, they need to concentrate on the price raised. Okay, if the situation is in upward, then only they need to sell. Okay, but in technical analysis, what they are going to suggest in a sense, if the price of the shares is high, at that time they need to buy the securities. But in fundamental analysis, not like that. At the time of rise of a price, they need to sell their securities or the shares. Okay, this is about the fundamental analysis. Let's go on with trading on inside information. Okay, this trading on inside information, one of the false representation or the falsification of accounts which was practiced by the company in order to protect from the tax purview. Okay, that is what we are going to call as trading on inside information. Okay, here it is not legal to trade on inside information, it is purely illegal one. Okay, and here offenders are prosecuted, that is prosecuted, which means nothing but prohibited. Okay, here there is no compulsion or there is no any strict and hardened rules in order to prohibit certain things. Okay, that is misfalsification of accounts. We cannot represent, or we cannot determine it. Okay, and the next thing, it's about rules to protect the small investor. It is very stringent one. Okay, here there are certain stringent rules are there, so those kind of rules cannot be overcome, or those kind of stringent rules cannot be followed by small investors in certain situations. Okay, this is what the trading on inside information. Okay, and the next thing, it's here one question will arises, that is, what is the meaning of efficient market hypothesis to the investment industry? For the investment industry, here just I have talked about as a general for company, and for other kind of aspects I have talked, but here the investment industry, for them what's actually the meaning it is. Okay, because in industry also certain shares are going to be traded, right? So those kind of things here. In an investment industry, efficient market theory, which means the debate between active and the passive portfolio management. Okay, here the billions of dollars are going to be at stake. Okay, that is active or passive management, that I will deal next. Okay, debate means, which means nothing but there will be more discussion which is going to happen on the active and the passive portfolio, that is which portfolio they need to choose at which point of a time. Okay, and here the billions of, it is a billions of dollar question. Statements nothing but it is a question. Okay, that is at which situation they need to buy, that need to be analyzed. Okay, and here active or passive management, what actually it means. Here the active management, it is a combination of security analysis and timing. Okay, that is a security analysis, which means nothing but that is which kind of a security we need to buy at which point of a time, and which kind of securities we need to sold or sell at which point of a time. Okay, that need to be analyzed. And when it comes to timing, okay, in timing, whether at a peak level it need to be analyzed, or at the rising time, or the first stock price time they need to analyze, that need to be analyzed. And in active management, it is a combination of security analysis and timing. Okay, and the next thing, it's passive management. Okay, passive management, which means nothing but the combination of buy and hold and index funds. Okay, here buy and hold, that is in which point of a time the securities are need to be buy, and which point of a time it need to be hold. That need to be neither sold, or it need not to be buy. Okay, it need to be in hold position. Okay, and when it comes to indexing funds, that is when it comes to indexing of funds, that is index future, index options. Okay, those kind of things, that is one index point will be there, that need to be analyzed, whether it's in higher or whether it's in lower. Okay, that need to be analyzed. Okay, so active management is a combination of security analysis and timing, whereas passive management is the combination of buy and hold and index funds. Okay, this is about the active or passive management. So active or passive management, it is going to comes in the efficient market hypothesis to the investment industry. Okay, so next we'll move on with the market efficiency and portfolio management. Okay, here even if the market is efficient, a role exists for a portfolio management. A portfolio management, which is nothing but the selection of a certain segments. Okay, portfolio means it's nothing but the combination of securities, right? That is in which time which type of a combination of securities need to be buy or sell, or it need to be hold. That need to be analyzed. Okay, here the appropriate risk level. The first aspect is appropriate risk level. That is at how much the percentage level of risk it is going to be taken by the investor. No, that much of a income or that much of a benefit they are going to get as profit. Okay, and the next thing, it's about tax considerations. Here if they are going to use more kind of a the deducted tax sources, that is TDS sources, if they are going to use much, no, then at that point of a time this tax considerations are going to be useful. Okay, and other considerations, maybe it is relating to demography or any technological or any political issues. Okay, those kind of things are going to be covered under this market efficiency and portfolio management. Okay, and next one ironic situation will come, that is, if the stock market is efficient, you may be better off buying index funds. Okay, that is, ironic situation means nothing but the truth one. Okay, truth ones. If the stock market is efficient, you may be better off buying index funds, in the sense that is, if stock market is efficient, then it is better to off, that is, it need not to be buy with the index funds, that is index option or index future. It need not to be buy from the investor. Okay, and however, if everyone buys index funds, market would not be as efficient, because no one is willing to search for information. That is, if more of the persons are started to buy of index funds, okay, at that situation what happens, in the sense it is not going, the market, it is not going to be remains efficient one, it has become as weak efficient market. Okay, so that's what whatever the market situation it may be, it is better if the efficient market is there, then they need to off the buying index funds, that is, they need not to go with the buying of index funds. Okay, rather than they are just gone with the purchasing of shares. Okay, so this is one ironic situation. And if market is efficient, how it can be determined? Okay, so in certain situation it will become very difficult to determine whether if market is efficient or not. Okay, that is, if we can find people who beat the market based on skill, this would imply abnormal returns are possible and the market is not efficient. That is, here determining with the market based on the skill, it is mere unpredictable one. Okay, it is not so easy to determine the market based on the person's skills, because in some situation what happens, in the sense the advisors, legal advisors, or the share price advisors, those persons are going to be there, no, they are going to advise you buy this security, XYZ security you buy, then you will yield more benefit. Okay, but it is not going to be happens if our luck it's not good. Okay, if that price it's suddenly fall down, in the sense, then that investor need to be burden, or they are going to incur with a loss. Okay, so that's what it is difficult to determine the stock market whether it's efficient or not, and based on just skill. Okay, that is some of the advisors will tell the gold price will increase. Okay, so if it's increased, then we can believe on them, otherwise it is not possible, right? So here the one thing, it's difficult to distinguish luck from skill. Okay, always it is just like a gambling only. The investment activity, it is purely like that only. Okay, based on the luck only, all the things are going to be worked out. Okay, like a dream 11 or something are going to be played, no, like that only. This share market or the stock market is also the in the similar way it is going to be dealt. Okay, and here just I have given one example for the trade on inside information. Okay, he was that photo what you are seeing, no, he was actually Rengan Rajaratnam. Okay, so he was actually having a one industry. Okay, that is Gillian Group of LLP. Okay, it is a New York based hedge fund advisory firm. It is. Okay, it was. Okay, so here in 2006 they have made fraud. In 2006 they have made fraud, and it is regarded as the biggest insider trading case in history. We all know about this Satyam Computers, no, like that only this scam was happened in the Gillian Group of LLP, a New York based hedge fund advisory firm. It was happened in that. Okay, here Mr. Rajaratnam's younger brother and a former Gillian employee, an SEC staffer, discovered incriminating communications between brothers. So here the harmonious relationship, it is not between the brothers, that is Rajaratnam brother and himself itself. Okay, SEC means nothing but Securities Exchange contracts. It's there, no, that is. So in the investigation of SEC, they could not pinpoint the confidential source. They need to disclose everything in front of SEC. Okay, here the criminal investigation which was commenced in the year of March 2007, and this case or the scam was happened in 2006 itself. Okay, and here some of the problems have been encountered by SEC. That is, the authorities conducted a classic insider trading probe for more than a year, but an exhaustive review of phone and trading records failed to capture explicit evidence that would sustain a criminal case. Here they have made the classic insider trading probe, that is, in manual books of accounts they have made the falsification of accounts. Okay, and in March 2008 the criminal authorities obtained permission for wire traps. That is what the misfalsification they have made, no, they have all abolished those witnesses or those evidences. Okay, they mitigated those kind of evidences, and after that in 2008 it was reimbursed from the criminal authorities. Okay, and here certain allegations which was filed by SEC, that is SEC complaint alleges that Rajaratnam tapped into his network of friends and close business associates to obtain insider tips and confidential information about corporate earnings of or takeover activity at several companies including Google, Hilton and Sun Microsystems. Okay, here they have also cheated for these three companies also, that is Google, Hilton and Sun Microsystems. Okay, and here they have not maintained the secrecy. Okay, they have those kind of confidential matters they have disclosed, and by that certain falsification also they have done. Okay, and next they have used the non-public information to illegally trade on behalf of Gillian. Okay, that is non-public information, that is which the information it need to be kept as confidential, no, that matter they have disclosed it to the public, and by that they have made the illegal trade, that is illegal buying of securities and shares they have made. Okay, so these are the allegations which was filed from SEC. Okay, and here certain defendants were there, Rajaratnam and Daniel Chesey, Rajiv Goel, Anil Kumar, okay, Mark Kurland, Robert Moffat. Okay, so for these all the persons they have put at the penalties and as well as the imprisonments for which for how much the year they need to be there in jail. It is actually bigger mistake, right? So for that reason, for Rajaratnam 11 years of imprisonment and $63.8 millions of fine they need to give it for court. Okay, and as well as for the SEC, okay, that Securities Exchange Contracts Act, for them they need to give for $92.8 millions of rupees, they need to give it to the penalty as for the SEC. Okay, for Daniel Chesey 2.5 years of imprisonment and this much of penalty, and for Rajiv Goel 2 years of probation and as well as probation means they are going to be in jail itself, and $2,76,848 rupees of amount they need to pay as penalty, and additional penalty also imposed from SEC. And Anil Kumar he was imprisoned for 2 years, okay, and 2.8 million with additional penalty. And here Mark Kurland, that is for him 27 months, okay, that is 2 years 3 months for him, and after there is no penalty from the court, but from the SEC penalty it was there, $4.4 million. And for Robert Moffat 6 months, zero penalty for him. Okay, based on their size of crime, no, the court also decided these kind of things. Okay, the penalty which is also determined based on their size of a criminality. This is what insider trading. So if insider trading it is going to be done, no, in the stock market, no one can escape from those kind of strict prohibitions. Okay, so for that reason everyone need to obey for the law. Okay, if obeying did not done by the persons, then this much of allegations they need to face, and this much of a penalty they need to face, and along with imprisonment in jail. Okay, so now Rajaratnam is in out. Okay, he is in out, but still what the reputation he have earned, no, that is spoiled it, right? So those kind of things it need not to be done from any organization. Okay, so this is what one example which was happened in 2006 from Gillian group. And along with they have already also cheated for 3 companies, Google, Hilton and Sun Microsystems. Okay, those companies also have taken the burden, right? That is from this Gillian group, they are also taken with a certain penalty amount. So this is one example regarding the trading on inside information. Okay, so next just I will make conclusion. I will make conclusion in one table format, that is in forms of market efficiency, how it is going to be done. Okay, so as per pharma in the year of 1970, here just I put it in one table. In weak form of market efficiency, the past market data are going to be considered. And in semi-strong form of market efficiency, past market data and as well as public information are going to be dealt. And next, in strong form of market efficiency, past market data, public information and private information are going to be dealt. Okay. And next I'll come to conclusion of this module. So here this is very much important, concentrate on this. Okay, in weak form of efficient, technical analysis cannot be done, right? I already told they are not going to think about technical analysis. And fundamental analysis, it's going to be done, yes. Insider trading, yes. Active management, yes, it is going to be done. Semi-strong, technical analysis, no. Fundamental analysis, no. In semi-strong, technical analysis will also not going to be done. Fundamental analysis also not going to be done. Insider trading will be there. Active management will not be there. Okay. In strong form of efficient market theory, there is no technical analysis, fundamental analysis, insider trading or active management. It is not going to be there. Okay. And here finally it should be noted that there is some evidence that contradicts the hypothesis, that is certain assumptions or certain things which is going to be contradict for this market hypothesis or efficient market hypothesis. Okay, that is, some market studies give evidence that a strategy as simple as buying low profit earning ratio stocks can result in above average profit. Okay, that is, if we buy the securities at a low price, then also if the profit earning ratio it is good, then we can also get average profit, or in certain situation we can also get with the above profit level, that is super profit can also be earned. Okay, so just based on these forms of market efficiency, it cannot be determined. Okay, that is, if the weak form of market efficiency, then low profit. Semi strong means medium profit, strong form in the sense high profit. It is not like that. Okay, if the securities price are in low manner, then also the profit earning ratio, if it is good, then they can earn with the average profit or the supernormal profit. Okay, this is one point which is going to contradict, which means nothing but opposes the forms of market efficiency. Okay, and next is, the efficient market hypothesis has not been proven. Okay, that is, it is not proven one. Okay, however, is a highly regarded tenet in modern finance. Okay, but still here it is going to be considered as one of the main aspect in the modern finance, and the knowing of this thing is very much essential for this the modern finance peoples. Okay, if markets are efficient, investors can expect that prices are fair. Okay, if market is efficient, then investor can expect that the prices are fair, and that the rate of return earned from a diversified portfolio of securities over time will be approximately average for that class of securities. Okay, that is, if market is efficient, then whatever the profit it is going to be earned, it will be in the fair manner itself it is going to be earned, and whatever the diversified portfolio of securities which is going to be done, that is also average, or it is going to be make the averages for that particular class of securities. Average means nothing but the combination of the class of securities, that is, in securities also A graded securities, B graded securities, C graded or first level securities or second level securities or third level securities, like these kind of things or the differentiations will be there, it is going to be make a differentiation. Okay, so by this by this we are going to complete with this module 6 efficient market theory. Okay, if you have any doubts, so you can ask me. Okay, in group itself you can ask, or you can make a chat with me. Okay, there is no problem in it. Okay, if you have any doubts before exam, you can ask me. And thank you for your thank you so much for your patience listening. Okay, if you liked my video, do subscribe for my channel. Okay, in order to get the next updates. Okay, so please do subscribe for my channel. Thank you so much.